All right, we're gonna do Oracle of the 7 energies today. Happy October, finally. Give me 1 minute while I find this video and get it set up and shared out. If you're just finding me, take a second to go ahead and say hi, connect with the energies, leave a comment. Take a second to say hi, especially if you're trying to get cards and things like that. Give me a minute while I'm sharing this out. Make sure you guys are also hitting the share button. That'll help you get more cards and things like that. All right, make sure you guys are sharing this out. We'll get started. So today we have Mercury in Libra, which is square Jupiter in Cancer. This is an interesting energy. We know squares can even create a little bit of tension with how we're feeling. This is giving us a chance to kind of heal in those areas. Libra, right? Welcome to Libra season. We are healing our connections and our relationships, especially with today's square highlighting things. Now with Cancer in the mix, it's giving us a chance to help look at our, if it's still affecting us, family and ancestral programming and things on the karmic level that might be coming up or might be highlighted with this square. If you have old fears, things that are holding you back from the new you or from your growth and ways that you need to expand, they might be being highlighted with today's squares. Yes, it can bring a tense energy, but remember, it is all about transformation with these alignments too. So it's a chance to help us to transmute the areas that might need it. This means old imprints might be coming up, especially in your relationships with these energies kind of highlighting if you need to heal certain areas still. So just be mindful of that with today's energies. I'm not going to go too into it. I just want to get on here and do some cards. But if you're trying to read a little bit more about today's energies, you can always read about everything on my website, sparksofdivinelighealing.com. Make sure you are checking out my website. I am an energy healer. I have a ton of healings, activations, and clearings that'll really help you on your journey. And I also teach classes like Reiki and Sakam. I also do psychic readings on there. So make sure you're checking out my site. If you need me, go ahead and book me on sparksofdivinelighealing.com. We're going to get started doing some cards. We're doing Oracle of the 7 energies today. Make sure that you've shared this out and left a comment if you're trying to get a card. If you're able to sign up and be a supporter or send PayPal donations or stars, please do. It helps to kind of keep this page going. It's an awesome way you can give something back if you're getting something out of this content. So if you're sending stars, I'm going to try to give you a psychic shout out. You can always just send them just because. Okay, let's see what's going on. Good morning, Nicole Hicks. No, I'm excited to try these cards. I used to have them already. I've like seen every card. Okay, but I haven't tried them for a while. Okay, so we are doing Seeing Beyond. And I love this because it's my favorite, those third eye gift cards, right? So working with your third eye, and this is something that we come here to Earth to practice our spiritual gifts and abilities, but sometimes we forget that on the journey, but it's actually the perfect training course. That's why we call it Earth School, so that we can learn certain things and kind of do things that we can't do in other places. So one of the things that we can learn is third eye mastery here, is opening up and awakening our third eye. Now, oftentimes our third eye is closed until we go through a spiritual awakening. It can depend on the person though. Sometimes some of you guys were very open as children and closed down again later and things like that because of programming and everything we go through. Now, this is like a card about and a message about opening up and activating your third eye even more. Some of you guys are sleeping on gifts and abilities that are so powerful. And some of you guys have opened up those gifts and abilities, but need to work with them more to bring them online more. This is why, and I'm not going to go too into it because I'm always saying this is why I do activation work. It really can help us in this area with activating our spiritual gifts and helping us bring them online stronger and things like that. But you're being guided to really work with the energies of the third eye. This is like my gift of prophecy, seeing things before they happen. When you have a really open third eye, you're going to be able to tell things before they happen to help you to better navigate your course. So you're like, you can kind of see now when we were asleep, we saw a lot of cause and effect. Those are the karmic cycles that we probably unknowingly stepped into or kicked off not trying to, and I mean that in a negative sense. Now, as we are awakening and we're activating our gifts and abilities, these gifts and abilities can make it so you're not making bad choices and you're kind of seeing the cause and effect before it happens. And so this is why if you've ever had like, oh, okay, don't do that, or this could happen, that's a good example of that, of using the third eye to better navigate your course. So when you're getting that guidance, you're like, oh, okay, I guess I won't do that, or this will happen in a negative light. And it can save you so many karmic cycles. So if you're getting glimpses of the future, seeing things before they happen, learning how to navigate your timelines, this is like gifts of clairvoyance, but pertaining to the third eye. Now we have gifts with every single chakra. We have work to do with every chakra too. That's another message, right? But we have gifts with each of the chakras. So the more open that we are in some of these centers, you're going to have, really, really powerful gifts. Now, and I always say this when it comes to me, that's one of my stronger chakras and things like that too. So there's certain things that can really open up our third eye a little bit more, but we can all intentionally do this work and really, really bring online some of those psychic gifts. So sometimes you might be receiving like downloads or, seeing things. It just kind of depends on what your unique gifts are to you. But this is like seeing past the veil energy as well. Now, I love October. Yes, I like the cozy, the cozy stuff, right? But I mean for the spiritual stuff, because the veil is really, really thin right now. We've officially gone into, I assume, season of the witch, but it's so much more than that too. During this time, the veil is really, really thin, so we're able to get more glimpses past it or insights past it. This is a little bit of like seeing through the veil, seeing past the veil, and this is a very, very powerful kind of message too. So using this time for this person while the veil is thin to be able to tap in and tune in, whether this is about your life, getting clarity, things you want to know about. This is like my psychic seer kind of energy. So working with the gifts and abilities of the third eye. We're going to do David Curtin. Make sure you guys have shared this out too. Okay, we are doing Tall Tale, and I love this because this is using your imagination. And sometimes we're taught as children, get out of your head, you're daydreaming, right? Do your mathematics, get out of that area of our head. And we are put into so much logic in school. You notice the courses that we probably had in school are all logic to get us out of that. So oftentimes what happens is a divide occurs in the brain because of all the education and programming and things like that. So we're left very in that, logical part of the mind, and we learn how to disconnect from the artistic, creative gifts that we have, the imagination, because then we're learning to disconnect from our manifestation abilities. And that's a deeper part of it too. And actually, the more that you can see things, the more that you can create things. Now, kids are amazing. I like to think we come here very unlimited. We're much more unlimited as children, and like you can imagine it all day. You can play make-believe, you can make up scenarios. I'm going to do this when I'm an adult, very unlimited, right? And then when you're an adult, you're like, oh, I can't do any of this, right? This is what I'm getting at, because you're much more, before all of that programming, you're much more in that imaginative kind of realm, we'll call it. You're being guided to get back into that manifestation realm. Once again, it's the mind, it's gifts and abilities. So logic is literally our ego talking us out of things. It's you picked up a sign and a synchronicity, but your ego is picking it apart and dismissing it. My favorite word, dismissing around here, right? Dismissing it as just a common occurrence, or that didn't have any meaning, that wasn't anything special, even though the universe was like literally trying to get your attention. And kind of, if you're too overthinking things, this could be, we love to overanalyze. We love to pick things apart. We love to sit in the mind all day. And so it's getting out of that ego programming and getting back into, right now, the manifestation work, the manifestation realm. We have to be able to see something before we can create it. Now, a lot of times, before someone's done a lot of inner work, you're probably thinking about worst case scenarios or failed scenarios and then experiencing them, because there's such a connection between our mind and creating reality. We see it, it happens. Okay. So we have to be able to think about what we actually desire. This is why we need to fuel fuel those manifestations, dreams, goals as things that will happen in our reality if we're tending to them enough. So the best manifestation technique is to be able to visualize something as it's already happened that you want to bring into your reality. This is something we can train ourselves to do to create a much more enjoyable life that we actually like, right? Not just our ego creating us these failed scenarios that aren't that great. So the more that we can kind of tap into this stuff and do that spiritual work, you're going to be able to very easily manifest whatever it is that you desire. One of the best manifestation techniques that I have used is simply to daydream and to picture the goal, manifestation, whatever it is that you're trying to create. And it could be anything. Like, right? It could be a situation, you know, I always say, car, house, love, or whatever it is, to really visualize that until it happens in your actual reality. So we actually dream things up in the mind long before we experience them in the physical. And one of the best manifestation techniques is to sit there and visualize what it is that you desire, helping to bring it in. We can call that an imprint, actually. So and these are bad examples, I know, right? You are trying to manifest a certain car or whatever. Okay, we're just going to use a physical manifestation easier. You're trying to manifest your dream car. You're going to go ahead and picture it in your mind, and you can do that right now just for a minute. You've created an imprint that you can now bring into reality. So we're learning that money doesn't have anything to do with our lives. Like, I know we think it does, but you never know how things can play out, that we need to really work with the third eye and the energies of the third eye to begin to create things. And simply by visualizing it for a couple of seconds, I say 10 seconds, you've brought that imprint into your reality. Now that's the danger of the negative thoughts we've been having, because you sit there and think something negatively, you're creating life as you go. It could happen, right? It depends on how much focus you're putting on that. All you have to do is think about something for 10 seconds. Chances are it's going to happen in your reality in some way, shape, or form, even if it's like for a friend in the background, for you directly over here, whatever, it's going to happen. So when we can really shift to the positive and what we want and start to do these techniques, it'll really, really help you. Okay, we have Leah, opening to discovery, and I love this because there's just so much magic, and you can't get more magical than this month. There's so much magic for us to be able to tap into other realms, dimensions, spiritual knowledge, cosmic knowledge that we can kind of learn and tap into and even integrate as we're going through this spiritual awakening. Look at when you were asleep to awake, there was this entire other layers of reality. We call these the awakening realms. There were other dimensions of reality that most people are closed off to see. These videos won't be for everyone, right? Like, okay, so when and you can see that when you're really on that 3D level, you're not going to be into this stuff. I have people that literally, like, I knew them and like friended them and they got rid of me as a friend, and I'm like, okay, I don't get why. Talking healing and manifesting, it's not for everyone. If you're still playing out the 3D, we're going to notice. So once you're awakened, you're probably going to be much more into this stuff, okay, or open to this stuff. And that's my point. We begin to open up to more as we're able to handle it. But maybe we have to be at a certain place of spiritual maturity, or, you know, a place of our awakening, or a place of our, you know, reality to be open to this stuff and to be able to integrate it, right? Because it's a lot to integrate. The more that you're studying the spiritual and filling yourself with whatever it is, healing, medicine, astrology, ascension, right? Things like this, you're literally integrating that into your core, and it's changing who you are in a really, really good way. Like, so we want to be able to study this kind of stuff and fill ourselves full of that knowledge. And then the good news is, as you're getting into this stuff, you're going to be opening up to a lot of cosmic knowledge. And this could be coming through deep insights coming to you. It could be through spiritual insights. It could be through your intuition. It could be through literally divine downloads and kind of tapping in many different ways. It's going to kind of come to you as you're opening up to this kind of stuff. Stay open to higher dimensions of the soul that are trying to integrate down into the physical and are trying to kind of, we'll say, merge with you in that way. This is like an expansion happening of your energy. Perhaps you're obviously going through a spiritual awakening, or you're working on your ascension journey, and you might even feel like you're moving between dimensions right now as you're opening up to higher realms and dimensions right here in the physical, like while still living right here, right? You're integrating a lot in a very positive way too. Stay open to learning and new knowledge in whatever form it may come to you. This could be meeting teachers on your path that you kind of are drawn to in the perfect divine timing. It could be people that you're learning with and kind of teaching you certain lessons. It could be like studying the spiritual, staying open to learn in whatever form, because it comes to us in many forms, right? Even in our daily lessons and experiences, stay open that you're soaking that knowledge up. Gail Gregg. Okay, ears wide open. And I love this because some of you guys might feel, I hear like ringing in the ears, feeling pressure in your ears, feeling pain in your ears, probably right about here, below the ears, right? Like not so much throat chakra, more over here, because we actually have many other chakras and pressure points and meridians within the human body. And these are places that energy flows through. So as you are, and I do feel it's very connected to the throat chakra, even though it's very different, okay? As you open up your throat chakra more, many of you guys are going to open up the gift of clairaudience. Some of you guys might have alien communication where you're literally getting direct downloads from galactics. It could be from your higher self, as your throat chakra is very connected with your higher self or oversoul and things like this too. So many of you guys are kind of opening up. This could be hearing things, but generally it's not. Generally it's energy. Like you're picking up on energies. There's a lot of light codes coming into the planet, and your body is, we'll say filtering them through you, and you're picking up on these light codes. It could be direct downloads and messages coming to you from higher sources and higher beings. Yes, it could be galactics or your higher self. And this is less like I always say source, that's more the upper. This is a different kind. So you might be being guided to really work with. And so yes, this could be hearing something, but sometimes it's just you're filtering it in that way where you've picked up a download, but it is clairaudience, just the same. And so this is like, sometimes it's kind of coming through you. Now, I love this because channeling is very connected to clairaudience. So this is like, and I'll tell you a couple forms of channeling. It could be something like doing this video, right? That's a form of channeling. However, it could be like your friend is on the phone and they're just having a rough time and you just knew what to say to them. And sometimes you don't even want to say it, but that was like guidance specifically for their situation that they really needed to hear. And this is the divine element to it. It's coming past you, okay? Like you're getting that divine guidance through you for someone else to be able to help them in some type of way. Some of you guys obviously can channel things like music and poetry and writing, but I mean direct channeling where it's coming through you. And oftentimes that wasn't heard as like a voice in your head. It just kind of came through you because it's an energy moving through you that you're able to just kind of pick up on. It's past words. That's what I'm getting at. So oftentimes as we're energetic beings, we're picking up on energy downloads and we're not translating them like we would English, right? They're just coming through you, we will say. So this might be a message for someone that's a little bit clairaudient. You might know that. Now, I like to think of mediumship as a clairaudient ability too, because you're tapping in and tuning into. So, this can make you very good at the mediumship gifts and passing messages back and forth. And we could get these messages in many forms. As I said, they could come from your own higher self or higher self of others. They could come from the galactics or even mediumship gifts and abilities. So mediums pick up on messages. Yes, this could be something audible and heard, but maybe sometimes it isn't. Maybe they just are able to pick up on that message and acting as that, medium between the living and the dead, and able to kind of channel messages in that way. And that's oftentimes clairaudient gift and ability of picking up on things. We call that clear hearing. Work developing those kind of gifts and abilities. Let's see. Jessica, thank you. Quieting the mind. I just did another whole video on this talking about the ego. So and I love to, because this is what the work I do a lot of times is like, you have to kind of get in people's heads sometimes on that level if we're doing that kind of thing. And sometimes you have to kind of get to know people and how they think and what they're saying and what they're thinking to be able to do that work. Now, the problem with it with ourselves is we literally sit and think the same things oftentimes. Let's just call that our programs and patterns. So we have certain ways we're wired up. It could be your go-to, what you think about all day long, these patterns that you're in that we need to break out of, right? It's like the 3D programming. So we have this 3D programming of the ego and your old self, and it's like a collection of experiences that you went through, and maybe you went through a trauma earlier on and you're always looking out for that trauma to make sure it doesn't happen again. So the ego can be a little complicated. It also has all of these protection mechanisms that when you try to shut it down, when you try to get past it, it starts to kind of, go weird, we'll say. So this is like shifting out of the ego mind. I think that this is why, obviously, I'm a big fan of doing healing work, doing meditation work, working on reprogramming ourselves for, I just call it the 5D, right? And kind of getting out of the old programs that have kind of held us back. 3D programs are all about lack, division, duality, right? And kind of keeping us stuck. They're not that great. So slowly we begin to question our own belief system, I hope, with awakening. Things you've been taught, things you've been told were true, things you've been, just kind of believe, okay? So oftentimes at a certain point, hopefully when you're awakening, you begin to question your own core beliefs and if they're serving you or not anymore. Now, I like to think we expand and we can always continue to grow and evolve, and you might have really had some beliefs that were like this, and hopefully you've shifted out of them at a certain point and things like that, because we're always changing, we're always evolving. If you're someone that has a lot of chitter chatter going on in the mind, especially if it's negative, this is actually normal when we wake up, I always say. And where a lot of the work needs to be done with our mind. Our minds are creating our reality. Don't like your reality, you got to shift your thoughts. So there's a lot of techniques that we can do, but you're going to have to kind of pay attention to what's going on in your head and kind of work on it. Now, as the planet is becoming more and more telepathic and can read minds more and more, this is giving you guys the incentive to do the work, right? Okay, so, and we're going to return to that state where you can just kind of tell what's going on within people and things like that, or within their energy. Being guided to really do that ego work for you. Things like energy healing, meditation, staying mindful of negative thoughts and beliefs. This is where like affirmations, filling yourself full of positivity, working on your inner programming really, really helps with this too. So if you had a lot of like stuff going on within the mind, getting a grip on it. Activating and awakening the third eye is one of the best things that we can do to, I don't want to say get rid of, because we don't get rid of it, right? But to quiet the ego and get rid of it in a different way, because it's like your mind will change. Like, so, okay, not that activated third eye, more chitter chatter and negativity going on in our mind. The more activated your third eye is, the less thoughts you're going to have, by the way. And you're going to kind of go into this blank space, and your brain changes literally as you begin to activate the third eye, as it's kind of the barrier between right and left brain and things like that too. So doing third eye work will help you, and doing that inner work if you know you have a lot of repeating negative thoughts. Let's do Heather Bennett. Call of the Muse. I love this. Allowing this place to inspire you in some type of artistic way. Right? This is like my Dance with Spirit card, but this is like letting this place fuel and motivate you. Okay, even when people maybe don't like how things are going within their own life or collectively, this can be powerful fuel for change, right? Like, okay, you feel real passionate about something, you don't like something, you can go into these areas and create change in them, whether yourself or even on a collective bigger level and things like that. This is getting inspired from this place. And it could be, I always say, painting, writing, channeling, dancing, singing, whatever it is you're into. Right? This could be artistic way. It's like my creative kind of endeavor kind of card. Maybe you're kind of getting fueled up about some type of purpose that you might know you already have, or that you haven't even tapped into too. And I feel that's what this place is all about. We came here long before you ever stepped foot on this planet. You volunteered as a starseed, just a little reminder for everyone, as a light worker, and you wanted to come to planet Earth so bad to come for all of this. And you'll say, for what? The 5D. You wanted to come here, you wanted to share your gifts, and you wanted to create change through your role as a light worker in some type of way. You have beautiful spiritual gifts, you have a higher purpose, and you have a higher destiny. And your destiny is always very connected for anyone on the planet during this time, regardless of age. It is very connected to this spiritual awakening that is happening. In fact, and I don't want to say this, but I'm going to, most people are noticing that their entire sleep life kind of goes in the trash when you wake up. I hate to say it like that. Like literally your life doesn't even start until you have a spiritual awakening and you kind of start over, with the right way, okay? Like the way you should have from day one, but we were too asleep too. So oftentimes awakening is a powerful activation point where you begin to remember, you begin to awaken, you begin to remember and bring more of your soul through. Asleep ego, okay, we all go through that to develop the ego because it's needed, by the way, okay? So you kind of explore the ego and go down these paths, once you have a spiritual awakening and you can start to go through this activation point, though, you're meant to really live from spirit or soul and to really channel that in whatever way. It could be like, helping other people, sharing your gifts. It could be things you're passionate about and you got a hobby, you got something you like to do, new job, whatever it is that lights you up, fuels you, and is of service in some type of way. So stay open to spirit as it's kind of moving you through this journey and kind of working with spirit to get where you're going, wherever that is for you. Everyone's different, right? So for you, really connecting with spirit and your own soul. And so we know when we get cut off from our soul, it's bad and kills us and all this stuff, not in a literal sense, just, whatever. It cuts us off from our soul energy. So we want to connect more with our soul energy and bring that into the physical body. We feel good. We feel alive. We're on a higher frequency. We're channeling that energy. We have more clarity. We know what to be doing. We know what direction we're headed, right? It's like when you're asleep, you don't even know, right? So as you awaken more and more, you should get more clarity on your journey and where it's kind of taking you, but also paying attention for you to the spirit guidance that you're getting that is just for you on your path, that is meant to help you to tap into and tune into this stuff more. Let's do Jennifer B. Awakening Genius. And I love this too, because this is like suddenly maybe you are tapping into gifts and you can do things much easier, because without our gifts, it's a little like, it's always the divine feminine blindfold card, right? Like you can't see things we just talked about. So it's like suddenly you are living in black and white. We'll say seeing in black and white. It's like, those old televisions, like you're living in black and white or seeing in black and white, and all of a sudden with the awakening, you're seeing in color and living in color, and it's a lot more bright, and you notice things and you can pick up on things more. This is like my empath energy card too. Maybe you're someone that's like psychically seeing things more, picking up on things more, feeling things more. That's one thing that comes out of the awakening. It's like suddenly, you start to feel everything more. This could be people's energy around you, but maybe even your own, because that's most important. So sometimes what happens with awakening is so much is coming online so fast. You're being activated. Your DNA is coming online, right? We're going through this, we'll call it this spiritual and soul process that we go through with awakening and with ascension. And so you're feeling your own energy more. And this is why when we were asleep, we could live with all that trauma, I suppose. I mean, it was playing out the whole time. But okay, we would just ignore and avoid it. But with awakening, you can't hold on to it anymore. It all has to go. And so sometimes what happens alongside a spiritual awakening is the call to heal. You'll feel it. You'll feel it within you. You might feel different things in your chakras. You might feel things in your energy. You need to heal things. You need to clear things. You need to process old trauma. You need to heal the family trauma, the relationship trauma, whatever it is. So we feel things more. This is like my empath card. And sometimes that can be a little bit of a painful duality kind of experience. But the more that we heal these areas, we're going to feel a lot better, right? And we're going to ditch the baggage. So what happens oftentimes when we go through a spiritual awakening, our gifts awaken, but then we begin to feel things a little bit more. And one of the biggest things about navigating the collective energies, all of these surges, we could call them waves of energy coming into the planet, is we feel everything amplified. I always say this almost every video, however you're feeling, and we're in these high frequency energies today, right now, right? We're like in a K5, you're feeling these, they're going to amplify how you're feeling within yourself. So we can no longer fake, oh yeah, I'm great, to your neighbor, oh yeah, I'm great, Susan, and they're not, their life's falling in. You'll feel it to the extreme, to the point that this will help us to shift out of things we need to. And I mean this in a good way. So, formerly you're like, oh yeah, I'm great. And, you'd fake it till you make it. These energies are going to make us have to deal with stuff. And so there can be stuff that comes up, but then just know that you also have the tools, since you've awoken, to shift out of things fast. So if things are not feeling good, they're out of alignment, not feeling great within, it gives us the tools that we need through feeling from the energies, amplifying things going on within us, within our awakening, to be able to easily shift out of things. So you might be a deep feeler. Maybe you always were, but maybe this is something being amplified for this person within the awakening. You're a very solar plexus person though. Keep your solar plexus clear. If you feel things that aren't great, use it as an opportunity to shift out of situations or things or patterns that you need to. Feeling great, even better, right? Okay, we're going to do Trisha H. Okay, this is my favorite, broken open. I'll just look at the picture on this card. You are a glow stick. You had to be broken open. It wasn't the universe trying to like, literally, we think it's like breaking us. No, it was the ego. The ego needs stripped away. I call it refinement. Refined, stripped away, peeled away, and even broken. So usually, this is like my understanding of this. Sometimes people go through like something that destroys you. Could be one thing or a lot of things. It could be something traumatic. Some of you guys, it could have just been a breakup. It could have been divorce. It could have been like losing everything. A lot of people go through the tower moment of like they lost their job, they lost their friends, they lost their family. It could go on and on with this list. Things didn't go your way. Your ego had this plan when you were 10 years old, we'll say, and you were going to go live this certain life, very ego life. It didn't go at all that way. And usually it's like in those small defeats and things not going your way that you were doing very real ego work while you were asleep. Well, look at that trajectory, right? So while you were asleep, things might not have gone your way. Thank God. Just looking back, right? Or, and you might have seen it as a lot of abandonment and loss and things that you had to go through to get to this point where you are now. Now, know from this place where you are now, you're able to hold this higher frequency and hold this light because of everything that you've been through, by the way, and all the ways that you might have, we can call that a little crack here, a little wound there, you went through a heartbreak and we're kind of cracking open or whatever it was. A lot of people have been through death, loss, losing everything, and this could have been within the material too, because oftentimes that is a reflection of our awakening and what's happening with us. And maybe even people go through dark night of the soul or going through something that completely demolished, crushed you, or some stuff you probably don't want to talk about, in fact, or whatever it is. So, and then oftentimes we do have to deal with that. So there might have been some stuff that you've been through that was very heavy. And this is oftentimes what pushes people to the point of change and awakening, by the way. You're going to notice, I don't know how many people are on planet Earth. We'll say billions. Not everyone's awake too. And so the ones that have chosen to awaken on a spiritual and on a soul level, you've probably been through a lot to get you to that point, okay? And I always just kind of say that's the wake up energy that, if you look back 10, 20 years in your life, you might have been getting a lot of wake up energy. This could be trauma, near-death experiences, losing people, whatever it was that acted as a catalyst for your awakening. But now this is like out of this energy, you're focused, or you're meant to be focusing on healing and holding more of this light and anchoring it too. So what a light worker does is they literally hold this light. So you have to be able to hold it. So the problem is if our chakra system isn't open, we probably short circuit. I see it all over the place. Like, oh my God, from the energies that are very high, it's a new frequency. We have to do the inner work. We have to do the shadow work. We have to open our chakras. We have to clear out the old trauma, or we're not going to be at a frequency that's very good for this energy. So we're having to also maintain a higher frequency to be able to hold the higher frequency energy. The higher you go within yourself, right? Within your healing, raising your frequency, feeling better, keeping your chakras open and aligned, you'll be able to integrate this higher frequency light a lot better. Now, for those, and this isn't you, but I'm just going to put this out there, for those that are not wanting to heal and change and things like that, they might be feeling the energies very intensely as they shine a light on. More than that, right? They amplify our frequency and how we're feeling. So we see a lot more, and I hate to say it, but I'm the one who'll say whatever. And we see a little bit of chaos also happening in the collective, where there's a lot of karma rising up alongside these energies. And hopefully not for you guys, unless it's something you're dealing with still or need to resolve. But I mean collectively too. There's a lot of people that, haven't done that work and they're feeling it a little bit more. We'll just say feeling under pressure or feeling the energies a little bit more, as they do tend to shine a light on what we need to heal or our issues and things like that too. For you, focusing on just kind of, and I love this is like my keeping your chakras clear, meditation, holding this light, and not just holding it, bringing it down into the physical. We talk about channeling a little bit earlier, more of like messages for that person, right? It was clairaudient messages. Now, the best channeling we can do is to actually hold this light and channel it into our life. Like your manifestations, fueling your dreams, what your next chapter. And we're doing that with all this energy coming into the planet. It's literally the light codes of the new earth pouring into the planet, and we're able to kind of tap into all of that energy And this is why we're able to like manifest so much more and faster with a lot of this energy too. So just holding this higher light, this is like a light worker message. It's like what you're here for. Let's do, I see Sylvia. The land in between. I love this. This is where we're at too. Like collectively. Okay, so this is my favorite. This is, here, I gotta get it right for your side, okay? So this is gonna be like, okay, so this is the 3D, one of them. Okay, this is the 3D and this is the 5D, and you are here on your map, ma'am. Okay, so this is a map. I know your spirit guide sent you to Earth with this map. You're literally in between, and oh my God, is this like you're gonna have to jump to get across? You might even feel like that. Wait, what? You want me to jump off the cliffs to get to the other side? And like sometimes it feels like that with spirit, like here, giving you a nudge, and you're like, what? You want me to go where? Like, right? Okay. Like the movies, right? You're gonna have to fly, by the way. I don't even think you could make that jump. You'll probably fall and die. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Okay, so you're gonna have to fly. You're gonna need your wings for this, okay? Like literally. So jokes aside, you might feel you're in between dimensions right now, and I love that. It's the time of year we're in, it's the collective, it's the awakening and where we're all at. And even the most, I don't want to say the most ego people, the most ego people who are like, I have arrived, I'm good, I don't need to do any work. We have some work to do. So you have outgrown that old version of yourself. And I wrote a post talking about this morning, where you might be feeling a tug of war between your old life and your new life that you have not fully integrated into. We get glimpses, we're working on it, we're almost there from where we're at. And this is a very in-between. What is the in-between? I talk about it all the time. This is the 4D, is in between the 3 and the 5. So you've gone through a spiritual awakening. And real quick, if you guys haven't read my books, that's what I talk about going through this. So you've woken out of the 3D. The 3D is for the sleepers. I hate to say that. You were once there. It's okay. So once you've awoken, you end up in the 4D, where you have a little bit of work to do to fully integrate into the 5. This is a space of healing, believe it or not. This is why a lot of people go into that so deeply in that kind of, we'll say, in-between dimension. Is where we learn how to really do the 5D, okay? No judgment either. So we have picked up a lot of trauma from your old life, and this is the problem. You might be doing really, really great. You're in your new life or headed towards it, and guess what happens? Some old traumatic memory comes up, experience, something might remind you of it, and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to go through that again. I don't want this to happen again. Or it may be triggered in this space too, because we have to heal things, okay? So like if you've been through something really deep, and you know, pay attention if there's echoes of that. And this is what happens as you're moving forward. You might see similar patterns, cycles, people, whatever it is that you need to still kind of work on healing. Could be something karmically that you've already been through, and it's like, oh, that reminds me of this, or whatever it is within yourself. So this is like the space in between is to heal the old baggage, your old life. I don't want to say it's over, but yeah, that version of you is gone, that 3D version, but this is the ego version. It's a version of you that the ego built when you were asleep to keep you safe and small and all of that. It's a little bit like Alice in Wonderland, like where that she has a small version of her and the big version. And the 3D is like small Alice, and 5D is big Alice, okay? Who doesn't fit in any of the boxes, like, oh, I don't fit in the room anymore, or whatever, okay? So you're kind of in this like in-between space, but know it's a space of growth, healing, realization, and reflection that you're in, so that you can kind of work towards the 5D. You're gonna need your wings for this, like your angel wings, your little reminder of where we come from to kind of pull this off as well too. So you might feel a little bit uncomfortable space, as you might have outgrown people, situations that the old version of you resonated with no problem and could kind of fit in these spaces, as I say. And you're kind of in between. You know, you might even feel a little uncomfortable fully moving into the new and into the 5D that your soul is going to require you to grow into, okay? So you're kind of in this growth phase where you've outgrown the old. We know that. Like if I was going to go sit you down, whatever political stuff is happening, you'd probably be like, get me out of here. Or whatever low frequency stuff was going on out there in the collective, you probably just wouldn't resonate with it. And this is a good thing, jokes aside, but you're not fully where you want to be in life, okay? And because your soul is going to take you so much higher as you're doing this ascension work as well too. So keep growing towards the new, even though that make you feel just as uncomfortable as the old right now, because you're kind of like, where am I going? What's happening? You know, you're in this awakening energy, trust your soul as it's guiding you and moving you forward. You're going to go to such great heights. And I use that like high with Ascension. So just kind of trust the journey as it's unfolding. Continue to release any layers of your past or beliefs from your past that may be surfacing or coming up in this space. It's helping you to really become this different version of yourself. This is something you guys probably hear a lot with the awakening, that you're changing very fast in a good way. You probably will change so much that people will have to get to know you again because you're not the same person. I mean that in a good way. Okay, Rose. Wish upon a star. This is like my Make-A-Wish star, and it's a perfect timing because actually we do a beautiful meteor shower. Not yet. I won't get too into that this time of year. It's probably already going active. But aside from that, we have a lot of beautiful manifestation energy coming at us in October. This is really, really honing in on your manifestations. I said in an earlier video, and I'll try to repeat this, that if we don't have goals, if we don't have manifestations, we're literally at the whims of our own ego and subconscious, not really, we might be a little lost. It's like setting your GPS when we actually have like a goal, something you want to materialize, something you want to manifest. It helps to keep us on course and to give us a course. And as these things are coming into the physical, so you're being guided, another third eye message, to really work with the energies of manifestation, your gifts of manifestation, and to get clear about what you desire. This is like shooting star, making a wish, and, you know, really tapping into that beautiful, magical energy for you too, to materialize whatever it is that you desire. It could be the life that you desire. It could be one goal. It could be a manifestation. Let's do Trisha Walker. Endless possibilities. So with our, I call it the ego mind today, we're battling, right? With our ego mind, it's like, I'm going to tell you that you can go do something amazing, and this is where your ego talks you out of it. It won't work out. I can't do this. It might be too high from where we're at. It can't fathom where we're going. That's the reality, where we're all going. It can't even comprehend it a lot of the time. So this is why we can't sit and think our way out of awakening oftentimes, right? Like your ego, it'll just create such a jam of it, okay? Now, when it comes to the universe is infinite in possibilities. We talked about, you know, all these options that we have, all of these different pathways. Every time we're closing out an old situation, and we don't like that. We do not like change. We don't like letting go of things, the ego, right? And this is the root of attachment. Every time that we're closing out an old lesson, an old karmic debt, an old door that needs to close, it could be a person, situation, low vibe energies, we're actually rising up and opening up to more possibility. We're here to heal the limitation. Now, Saturn has a bad rap. I'm not going to go too into that today, right? Of like, brings us our karma, and it's like, it's all negative, like, oh my God, okay. But are you noticing that you've been in actual Saturn lessons your whole life, whatever karmic cycles or area you're healing karmically? So when I do these calls with you, I like to call number one, we're going to pull up certain areas of your chart so I can see like things like your karmic lessons and what you're working on. So look at your Saturn. It's going to show you whatever karmic lessons you're working on and have been your whole life. Now, if I was to pull up I'm your spirit guide for the day. We're going to pull up your Akashic records of certain memories. You struggled karmically early in your life. Like even in childhood, we're playing out deep karmic wounds and things. And later on in life, you would have struggled. Like something karmically come your way, it probably would have demolished you, knocked you over. You would have had a hard time with it. Now, flash forward to right now, today. You're handling it so smooth. You're moving through like twice as fast and like twice as much faster, and you're going through it really, really fast. And what Saturn really teaches us to do is to let go of the limitations, to heal the old wounds, to release like the barriers, the things that you struggled with early on, the same lessons you've been getting your whole life, you're learning to master. And we learn how to let go of and transmute all of that karmic baggage and debt and turn it into, oh my God, abundance and manifesting and mastery, and can help other people with it, and like good things, like positive rewards. So this is, the more that you're working on yourself and your healing, you're going to be able to do a lot more and accomplish a lot more and kind of open up past the limitation and open up to more possibilities, working with the universe as well too. So the more we shift out of the ego patterns and we say the karmic baggage and things, it's meant to be healing you and helping you to get mastery. It's hard lessons we get here, right? But you're learning from them. And then you're learning to be a better person, and you're getting so much karmic reward out of this the more you're transmuting any negative or dense karma or karmic energies in your life, and it's opening you up more. This is a co-creation with the universe card. So we're learning how to manifest, but we're also learning how to manifest with the universe. And sometimes this could be paying attention to the direct guidance you're getting about what comes next, what to be working on, what to be moving through. And I've been seeing this big time in my life, like right now, like next chapter revealed, okay, you got to work on this now. It's like, oh, great, okay. Great. So maybe for some of you guys, you're getting a little bit of a reveal as we're shifting into this time of year after the equinox. We went through that last month, right? And now we're in October. Are you getting a little bit of clarity, what you need to move through, what you need to heal, and what you're working through in this next chapter, like through till the winter time? So from right now, October to December, the next 2 months, hopefully, and this is for everyone, you're getting clarity, what you need to take care of in your life, what you need to just get past, something you're needing to move through during this time, and you'll be at a better space for the new year or whatever it is after the next couple of months. So pay attention also to the clarity, because you are creating, you are manifesting, but you're also co-creating with the universe. And so this is like opening up that you can do more than you think with the universe on your side. Like this could be blessings coming in, unexpected outcomes, you know, the universe easily shifting you out of a situation you were stressed about, or needing to heal something that's coming up from your past, because we have a lot of those themes coming up. Like there's things from your past you still need to resolve, but the universe moving you through it really, really easy in some type of way, okay? Okay, I'm going on that note. If you guys do need me, just go ahead and book me on my website, sparksofdivinelighealing.com. Amazing day if you do need to catch me for something. Make sure you check it out, the things in my shop, and have a beautiful day.